If you want to make a decision in life and actually stick to it, if you're someone who needs to stand on your no, if you're someone who you want to change your life and you want to stick to that decision long enough for your life to actually change following that decision, then this is a great video for you. I'm going to bring forth a concept. This is a great concept that Tony Robbins has brought forth, which is decide, commit, resolve. This is how you make decisions in life. So if you're someone who has struggled to make decisions in life, you've struggled to really stand on your decisions, you've struggled to keep to your word as a person, this concept is going to be really great for you. It's a 3-step framework that's going to help you to stand on your decisions. How this works is decide, step 1. This is what you do when you first make a decision. It's the confirmation, it's the decision, it's the dedication you make when you say, okay, this is what I'm doing in my life. I'm going to say no. This is what I'm going to do to change my life. This is the decision. The I am statement, I am doing this. That's the first step of any decision making. You did make a decision and say, I am not doing this. I am doing this. Or this is my stance. I'm going to say no. That is the first step, the decision. But a lot of people, they stop here. They make a decision and they think because they've made a decision, then that is all they need to do. There's a lot more to actually sticking to a decision than just making it. Making it is, of course, the first step and is a great step, but you have to follow on till the end to really solidify these decisions that you're making in life. So after you decide, which is step 1, next you have to commit. So the first step was the deciding. That's made at the initial timing. But later on in your life, there's going to be times where you need to commit to that initial decision. So these are the actions that you take later on that still align with the decision you made first. If you've decided you're going to say no and stand as a DNA gatekeeper, there's going to be actions that you need to take later to reaffirm, to commit to this decision, to realign with this decision in the future. So in the future, there's always going to be times where you need to recommit to your initial decision. This is exactly like marriage as well. At the altar, you make a decision. Then later on, you recommit. It's a recommitment thing you do all the time. After you make a decision, you basically have to make sure you're reaffirming and recommitting to this decision every single day. So you need to take aligned action. That's basically what commitment is. After decision, aligned action is the commitment. The third step is resolve. So what is resolve? Resolve is when you cut off all other options. You cut off all other ties. You cut off something because of this decision. Because of this initial decision that you've made. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say no. You now your actions, when you've committed, which is step 2, are aligning with the decision. You're also going to need to cut something off to stay in alignment with this decision. Every decision that we make in our life is about aligned action and also cutting off. Aligned action and cutting off. Again, linking back to marriage. You're going to have to cut off a lot of things to sustain that marriage, that decision you've made at the beginning, which is your vows you made. You've committed to them, you recommit to them in the future, and then you cut off. You cut off anything else that will stop you from basically being in alignment with that initial decision. So that's basically what decision making is. If we also align this to DNA gatekeeping, when it comes to DNA gatekeeping, you decide that you're going to stand at the gate of your womb and say no. You're going to protect your womb. You're going to keep your womb for your husband. There might be times in the future where you have certain obstacles. You're going to have to recommit to that decision. You're going to have to take aligned action with that decision. You're going to have to be not in places that are going to put you in positions where you are at risk. You're going to make aligned decisions with that initial decision to be a DNA gatekeeper. Then resolve. There might be people you need to cut off. There might be some habits you need to cut off. There's going to be things you need to cut off to align with the initial decision you made at the beginning to be a DNA gatekeeper. This actually aligns and can be applied to pretty much everything in life. If you've decided you're going to be a millionaire, next you have to commit to the decision in the future and take aligned action to be a millionaire. Then you have to cut off all habits that won't get you to be a millionaire, or the people who are going to hold you back from being a millionaire, all the environments that are going to keep you stuck and keep you in the same poverty mindset. So this literally applies to everything. Even having your dream body, you decide, I'm going to have my dream body. Then you start going to the gym and eating right. That's the commitment you make, the step 2. Then you're going to have to cut something off. You're going to cut out the bad food. You're going to cut out the bad sleeping habits, all the things that are going to stop you from not having that dream body. So in anything you want in this life, there's basically a aligned action, which is the commitment, step 2, and there's the 3, which is the cutting off. This here also applies to your relationship with God and building your life so that you get to heaven. You decide, I'm giving my life to Christ. Then you recommit. In each day, you're walking in alignment with God. You're reading your Bible, you're praying, you're staying in alignment with God. Those are the daily decisions, those daily actions you make that commit to your initial decision. Then you must resolve, which is you cut off anything that's going to pull you away from your initial decision to give your life to Christ. You cut off things of the world. You must cut off people, you must cut off relationships, you must cut off friendships that will bring you back into the world. You must cut them off. So this applies to everything in life. Making decisions is a key skill of life. So when making decisions, you have to make the decision initially, then you commit to the decision on a daily basis, and then you resolve as well. You have to, whenever you're making decisions, you basically need to think, what do I need to do to keep this decision standing? And what do I also need to cut off to keep the decision standing? So those are the 2 parts of decision making. There must always be a aligned action that you're doing each day and also cutting off. So everything about decision making is about aligned action and cutting off, aligned action and cutting off. And that's a really good thing to take with you when you're making decisions, when you're standing on your ground, you're saying no, when you're being a DNA gatekeeper, when you're moving towards success in life, when you're in your marriage, when you're in your relationships, when you're pursuing your goals. You have to decide that you're going to have it, and you must move in alignment, and you must cut off anything that's going to stop you from getting there. That's a key aspect. A lot of people miss out the last step, which is cutting off. A lot of people miss this out. They've decided they're going to take a decision. They decide they're going to do something in their life. They're going to, let's bring an example. You've decided you're going to be a millionaire. You decide you're going to be wealthy. Now you're taking an aligned action. You're moving towards your goals. You're taking steps that are going to bring this money to you, becoming a millionaire. You're going to start businesses. You're going to start building your streams of income. Then you need to resolve. A lot of people don't resolve. They carry people with them. They carry habits with them. They carry behaviors with them that won't actually allow them to be a millionaire. These are things you have to cut off. So a big part of decision making is deciding what you need to do and also deciding what you're not going to do. These are like 2 columns that you can do on a piece of paper. You can get a piece of paper, have your decision at the top. What do I need to do to hold the decision? And what do I also need to not do? What do I need to cut off to also hold the decision? And this is going to really help you. Because sometimes you're carrying dead weight. You're carrying things that you need to drop to move faster. You know how if you're like a horse and carriage is carrying, there's a lot of weight in this carriage, that the horses will move slower. They won't get to their destination as quickly as if they actually removed that weight and they moved faster. They would move faster. So this applies to you. Whatever you're carrying is probably not going to get you to where you want to get to. This could be beliefs too. You could believe that you're not worthy of being a DNA gatekeeper. You could believe you're not worthy of having your dream life. And for that reason, you hold on to things. But the decision also comes with alignment in terms of your commitment, the step 2, and that means new beliefs, new mindsets, new perspectives, new outlooks on life. And then you must drop the old. You must always drop the old. This really links to your relationship with God. That's the most important one when it comes to making a decision. A decision to give your life to Christ. A decision to be a born again. To build that relationship with God when you've decided, I'm going to be a Christian. I'm going to have a relationship with God. I'm going to be born again, saved. Once you've made that decision, you need to commit to it every single day, and then you need to cut off. You must cut something off. You must cut those behaviors off that are going to keep you in sin. You must cut those behaviors off that are going to keep you stuck, going to keep you in chains, going to keep you in bondage. Like, you must. And this is decision making 101. This is how you make decisions. There's always going to be things you need to do to be in alignment with the decision, and things you also need to do. So things that you also need to no longer do to be in alignment with the decision. So whenever you want to make a decision, it's about deciding, then committing in the future, then you resolve. What are you going to resolve today? What are you going to resolve today to make sure that all the decisions that you've made will come true, will actually manifest? What are you going to resolve? What are you going to commit to? What actions are you going to take every single day to align with your decision? This is what we need to think about. And this is what we need to be as DNA gatekeepers. We decide that we're going to stand at the gate of our womb, and we're going to say no. We're going to make sure that we say yes inside of marriage. So every day you're recommitting to this decision, and you're cutting off anything that will prevent you from getting here. There's always a cutting off that you must do to make sure that all your decisions in life stand. Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, follow your purpose, be a light in this world, and I'm sending you lots of love and peace.